Welcome back to Core Formulas. Last lesson we compared VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP on this product catalog, and both formulas landed on the same price for the same product ID. We also saw VLOOKUP quietly break when a new column got inserted into the table, because it counts columns by a fixed number, while XLOOKUP survived because its return range adjusted with the sheet. Today we're adding a third technique to that same comparison, index and match, working together. They're actually two separate functions. Match searches a range and tells you the relative position where your search key was found. Index then takes that position and returns whatever value sits there in a different range. Once you see how the two snap together, it's easy to understand why index and match is a useful alternative to VLOOKUP. Let's build index/match right next to the formulas we already trust. First, a label row, then a search key that copies the same key we used before, so we're testing all three formulas on identical input. Now the formula itself. Match open paren J2, A2 through A6, 0. That last 0 means an exact match, exactly like the false we passed to VLOOKUP. Match doesn't return the price, it returns the key's relative position inside that range. Index wraps around it, index of D2 through D6, and then the position match just found. So index walks down the price range to whichever position match pointed at and returns the value sitting there. Let's confirm, the same price as VLOOKUP in column H, the same price as lookup in column I, and now the same price again from index and match. Three different formulas, one correct answer. What happens when the search key isn't in the table at all? Here's the missing key we set up in lesson 3.4, along with VLOOKUP wrapped in IFERROR and XLOOKUP with its built-in fourth argument. We'll copy that same missing key into our new comparison area. First, enter index/match without error handling. Match cannot find the key, so it returns an error instead of a position, and index has nothing to return. Now replace that formula and wrap the entire index/match expression in IFERROR, with a friendly fallback message as the second argument. Typed, confirmed, and our index/match formula reports not found instead of a raw error, matching the other two. It's one extra step compared with XLOOKUP's built-in fourth argument, but it preserves the flexibility we're about to see. Here's the lookup VLOOKUP simply can't do. VLOOKUP always searches the first column of its range and returns something to the right of it. So if all you know is the product name in column B, and what you actually want is the product ID in column A, to its left, plain VLOOKUP is stuck unless you rearrange or duplicate columns. Index and match don't have that restriction, because they're two independent functions instead of one rigid range. Match searches B2 through B6 for the product name. Index pulls from A2 through A6, a column to the left of where match is searching, and that's allowed because index doesn't care where its range sits relative to match's range. Typed, confirmed, the product ID our formula found matches the ID sitting next to that product in the source row. A left lookup, done in one formula. Let's run the same stress test from lesson 3.4 again, now with index/match in the mix. Select column C and insert a new column to its left. Because this is a whole sheet column insertion, our comparison blocks move one column to the right as well. Watch what happens to the three formulas in their new positions. VLOOKUP, now in column I, is silently wrong. It was told to return the fourth column of the range, and there's a different value sitting in that position now, so it hands back a wrong answer without any error at all. XLOOKUP, now in column J, is still correct because its return range shifted with the price column. And index/match, now in column L, is also still correct. Its lookup and return ranges adjusted with the sheet instead of relying on a numeric column index. We can patch VLOOKUP by hand, changing its index from 4 to 5, but that's manual bookkeeping every time the table changes shape. Now let's undo the temporary formula repair and the inserted test column, so the sheet is back to a clean state for next time. Let's take one last look at everything side by side, the catalog, VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP from last lesson, and index and match from today. Index/match takes more typing than VLOOKUP, but it buys you two real advantages. It can look left, returning a column positioned before the one you're searching, and its ranges adjust when a column is inserted into the source table. That second property puts it alongside lookup for the structural change we tested today. INDEXMATCH also remains useful when you need compatibility with older spreadsheet environments that don't provide lookup. Next lesson, we'll move on from lookups into text formulas, combining, splitting, and cleaning up messy text with concat, split, trim, and substitute.